Welcome to Lancer Spotlight. I'm Delia, and we're with the Teachers for Tomorrow class here at Lewis High School. Teachers for Tomorrow is celebrating a big accomplishment right now. 7 of the students in this class have received contracts to teach with FCPS. Here to tell us more about that is the teacher of Teachers for Tomorrow, Ms. Dye.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Dye.
Thanks for being with us today,
Sure.
Mrs. Dye. And first of all, congratulations to you and all of your students.
Thank you.
Tell me more about this contract. What does that entail?
So each one of the seniors went through a interview process, and they had to sit in front of a panel that included Ms. Hudson, myself, and one person from central office. And they were asked 5 questions that were teacher related. And based on their answers, and they also had to write an essay for why they wanted to be a teacher for Fairfax County, then they were awarded a recruitment contract. The contract is good for 5 years, and they can go back to Fairfax to go through the interview process a second time. But as long as they stay on top of their schooling and they let FCPS know where they are in regards to their education and what their degree is, they're guaranteed jobs in the teaching profession upon graduation.
Awesome. That's awesome. How do students prepare to receive that contract or prepare for that interview process?
They completed internships at Forestdale Elementary School. Some of them were placed in kindergarten classrooms, a few in first grade, second grade, third grade, and I believe 2 were in 4th grade classes. So it wasn't just my recommendation, it was also the teacher's recommendation in the class that they shadowed at Forestdale.
That is awesome. So they had a whole internship at another school. How long does that go on for?
We had 8 visits. So throughout the entire month of March, we went over during 4th period advisory for 2 hours. Our last day, we stayed for most of the school day because my cadets requested what it was like to be in the elementary class setting for most of the day. So they could see the recess and the switch between classes and specials, and they wanted to really eat lunch with them too. So that was a special day.
That's so awesome that you get to teach students as a student yourself. That's really cool. How do you prepare students to teach?
Everything's done right here in the classroom. We start the very first day. They learn all about the child development process, how students learn. They do inventories on themselves so they can learn about how they learn the best. And we do a lot of different hands-on manipulative activities in class, which was very difficult to do last year, being all virtual. So this year, the Teachers for Tomorrow 2 students almost repeated Teachers for Tomorrow 1 because this year they were actually able to do a lot of the hands-on manipulative activities that they couldn't do last year.
2 years and packed into 1 year almost.
Yeah.
Wow. What attributes do you think make a successful student in your class? So what does it take to be successful in this class?
This is not an easy class. It is a lot of work, which I know the cadets can attest to. They are responsible for doing weekly educational article and summaries. I have them look up educational quotes and explain what the quote means. There are a lot of projects. Some of them are individual. I try to do as many group projects or class projects. For example, they had to create from scratch their own preschool. And Nor was the director, and she delegated what cadets had what roles to play, and they had to do an entire group presentation, and they literally had to name their preschool, come up with rules, come up with a routine, and design their preschool.
That sounds like a really, really fun project. And also, I'm sure it was a lot of work.
Yes.
What student would you recommend this to? Who do you think should take this class?
Any student that even has an inkling that they might want to be a teacher, take this class. This is the best way to figure out if the classroom setting is where you want to be. I know most of the cadets that are graduating this year do want to be elementary teachers. And because we were able to place them in an elementary classroom for those 8 visits, it really gave them a true idea as to what they would be walking into.
I want to be a high school German teacher. The experience, it felt very scary because it was someone from FCPS and they were very important. So I was super nervous, but she was very sweet and she made it feel very calm rather than very tension filled. So even though I was scared, I wasn't as scared as I thought I would be. And she asked the questions very slowly, so I was able to think as she was speaking, which I thought was very helpful.
That's awesome. So you mentioned high school German. Why high school German?
I really like languages, and I already took so much Spanish, so I think I want to go to another language. And I do like German, so that's just how I kind of decided that.
That's cool. How is this contract going to help you in the future with that goal?
This contract will definitely help me because rather than having to go out and like find a job, I already have one with FCPS, and that gives me a sense of security. And it's nice to stay because I know FCPS is a very great county. So I'm excited that I am already kind of guaranteed a job, and I'm excited to work here.
So how is that contract that you received from FCPS going to help you in the future?
It's going to help me in the future because obviously when college students, they graduate, it's not like they're just allowed to, step into the real world like they need, to take it step by step, just to become stable. So, this world right now, they need a lot of teachers, but hopefully in the next few years, with COVID dying down, more teachers, are getting jobs and everything. So there is, less of a teacher shortage. But having, this guaranteed job, that does make me confident that I'm going to get an early start after college to being stable.
Tell me, what was your highlight of this year for this class?
I'd say going to Forestdale. That was one of the best things that we did in this class, to be honest.
Tell me about your experience with the Forestdale students. What made them so great to work with?
All their different characteristics as people. Me and my partner, we were both in the same classroom. She even agreed that they all had their own groups that they would stay with, and she always had the back groups. I had the front of the groups, and we'd stay with them. And every time we interacted, we'd always compare each of them of what they liked and how they were acting. And
I think my favorite part about this class was the chance to work with the students at Forestdale and to see how it was actually to be in a classroom in an elementary school. That was a great experience to see the students interact with them just in groups and also just on one-on-one. So I think that was the best part of this class experience in the 2 years I've taken it.
Jacob, tell me a little bit about yourself. What was your favorite part about teaching this year?
My favorite part about teaching this year was being able to take a month in March to actually be able to go and student teach a kindergarten class, because in the future I do look to try and teach in elementary school, whether it be in kindergarten or 5th grade. That's my passion of this year.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, Noor. What made you want to take this class?
So I've just noticed, throughout my education experience, I've noticed a lot of, experiences in the classroom where I'd be like, oh, if I was a teacher, I would do this differently or I would do this differently. So I think that's what kind of strived me to want to become a teacher.
Tell me, Rebecca, what made you want to take this class this year?
Well, I've always wanted to be a teacher, really. I mean, from as far as I can remember, I've always wanted to teach.
What, to you, makes a good teacher?
To me, a great teacher is someone who can connect to their students, like Miss Dye. I think she's connected with all of us so greatly. So,
I've been with Miss Dye for 2 years now, and she has made this class an amazing experience for all of us. She comes to every class with a bunch of energy to try to propel these lessons in a certain way. Even if it's not going the exact way she wants, she still develops upon that idea and makes this class the best it can be by trying to push us forward.
When we're presenting lessons and we did our lesson plan, and when Mrs. Dye was acting like a first grader, she was saying some pretty funny things. She said her mom thinks she's kind of stupid.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
My favorite thing about this class is my teacher, Miss Dye, because she's actually my favorite teacher. She's the sweetest person I know, and she makes every single class as fun as possible, and her energy is amazing. So
That's awesome that you have such a great teacher role model to take with you. What are some things that she does that you are going to make sure that you implement in your own classroom?
Well, first of all, the energy. I'm going to make sure that all my students feel like I want to be here, I want to be at my job, and I definitely feel that with her. I feel like she loves her teaching job, and I want to make sure that my students know that as well. And I also just want to keep a positive classroom, because that's a giant part of wanting to go to school in the first place, if you know that you're going to have fun in class rather than dread it.
Above all, what is one thing you hope your students will take away from your class?
That everything they learned here is not just applicable to whether or not they intend to pursue a teaching career, but it's applicable to their life. I'm going to start crying. I hope that I've prepared them for the real world, and I hope they always remember me.
That is so sweet. Thank you so much for
You're
sitting
welcome.
down with us and talking with us, Ms. Dye. This sounds like an amazing, wonderful class.
It is.
And it's just,
I'm so honored to teach this class, and it's, I love
can just
this
tell
class.
from your answers to these questions that you're just an amazing teacher, and we're so lucky to have
thank
you here. Thank you so much.